Welcome to Vskills YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn about the top interview questions for ReactJS. So, let's get started. Question number 1. What do you understand by JSX in ReactJS? The answer is, JSX refers to the syntax extension defined for JavaScript to be used in ReactJS. JSX is primarily used for UI definition and its look and feel. In ReactJS with JSX, the HTML structure can be present in the file with JavaScript code. JSX is used for production of ReactJS elements. Question number 2. Do web browsers directly read and process JSX in ReactJS? The answer is, as JSX is not HTML or JavaScript, hence, web browsers cannot read or process or apply the JSX instructions. Web browsers have rendering and processing engines to process HTML or JavaScript code. Hence, JSX needs to be translated to web browser understandable format of JavaScript object. Question number 3. What is meant by the virtual DOM in ReactJS? The answer is, the term DOM expands to document object model, which is a logical representation of HTML document as tree-like structure showing the web page or document at the tops and next level elements or group or objects listed below, and it goes till the last level where only elements or objects are present. The real DOM is called as virtual DOM in ReactJS as element level changes are done on the specific element in virtual DOM instead or updating the complete DOM. Question number 4. Illustrate an event in ReactJS. The answer is, event in ReactJS are essential for providing the dynamic behavior of the event ReactJS application. An event is a trigger or input either from user or the system for a specific task like mouse click. Camel Case is sued for naming ReactJS events. Question number 5. Describe synthetic events in ReactJS. The answer is, synthetic events in ReactJS provide an integrated API against the response of multiple web browsers' native events. This facilitates easy and quick development. The ReactJS application also becomes seamless as it is able to manage different web browsers or becomes web browser portable. Question number 6. Why keys are needed in lists in ReactJS? The answer is, keys are needed in lists in ReactJS as they provide important function to list, which includes to provide a unique identifier to identify changes or updates or deletion in specific items from the lists and find components to be re-rendered, thus boosting the performance by re-rendering of the updated components only. Question number 7. Describe forms in ReactJS. The answer is, forms are needed for data input from the user so as to fulfill their requirement. A web form or form in ReactJS are similar to a physical form but uses UI elements like text fields, checkboxes, radio buttons, etc., to enable data input or selection by the user. Each form in ReactJS has a specific purpose like taking inputs for a report, displaying matching data, etc. Question number 8. What is meant by an arrow function in ReactJS? The answer is, usage of this inside the constructor usually leads to errors, especially during the ReactJS callbacks. An arrow function in ReactJS enables writing a function to ReactJS. Question number 9. What are the components in ReactJS? The answer is, components are the core element of ReactJS and are used for developing ReactJS application. A component is a UI element so as to make the UI independent and reusable for separate processing. A ReactJS application has an access to two components types as the functional components have no state of their own and has only render methods and may derive data from other components, and class components hold and manage their own state with a separate render method. Question number 10. Why the following render is needed in ReactJS? The answer is, this render method is critical in ReactJS as it is needed by every component for returning the HTML to be shown in the component. Rendering of multiple elements can be achieved by grouping all those elements in a specific tag. Question number 11. Describe a state in ReactJS. The answer is, ReactJS provides state which refers to an object that stores data about the component, and as component changes, the state also changes over time, with the component being re-rendered. Component or state changes against action by user or system-generated events. Question number 12. Illustrate props in ReactJS. The answer is, props in ReactJS expand to properties and is an object storing data related to attribute value for a specific tag. Props data is similar to an HRML attribute. Props are also used to data transfer amongst components, and they are passed similar to function arguments. Question number 13. What do you understand by a higher-order component in ReactJS? The answer is, a higher-order component in ReactJS refers to a higher-level component as it is a container for other components so as to make those components reusable and simple to use. It is primarily used if the components have common logic. Question number 14. What do you understand by strict mode in ReactJS? The answer is, the strict mode in ReactJS is specifically used for stricter checking of the ReactJS application. Though no extra DOM elements are rendered, it includes many additional checks and warnings for its descendants. It is available in development mode. Question number 15. What is meant by Redux in ReactJS? The answer is, Redux in ReactJS refers to a JavaScript library which is open source and primarily used for managing the application state and developing the UI for the ReactJS application. Question number 16. List components of Redux in ReactJS. The answer is, the Redux in ReactJS has mainly three components as 1. Store, for holding application state. 2. Action, keeps source information for the store. 3. Reducer, stores application state changes against actions sent to the store. Question number 17. Describe ReactJS Router. The answer is, ReactJS Router is an essential utility for developing and managing specific routes for a ReactJS application, thus provides navigation amongst the various components of ReactJS application and to end user as well for navigating in the ReactJS application. Question number 18. What is the utility of ReactJS Router? The answer is, ReactJS Router provides a centralized storage and management of routes in ReactJS application. It provides a common framework for the structure and behavior of routes in a ReactJS application, especially for single-page web applications. Multiple views in a SPA are provided by defining multiple routes. Question number 19. Why refs are needed in ReactJS? The answer is, the ref are not widely used in a ReactJS application as it return a reference to the element similar to a pointer in C language. It provides a direct method for accessing the DOM element or the specific instance of a component. Question number 20. Differentiate between shadow DOM and virtual DOM. The answer is, the DOM refers to document object model, which refers to the web page. Both shadow DOM and virtual DOM are applicable for a ReactJS application development. The shadow DOM is used for variable scoping and CSS in web components but is provided by the web browser and not browser agnostic. On the other hand, the virtual DOM is a logical concept which is implemented using the various JavaScript libraries above the browser APIs. Question number 21. What do you understand by ReactJS Fiber? The answer is, ReactJS, also called as Fiber, refers to the new reconciliation engine from React. It is a re-implementation of the core algorithm which was present in the ReactJS v16. Fiber is a drastic improvement as it enhances suitability for animation, layout, gestures and other UI-related tasks, pause, abort, or reuse work, assign priority to different update types and new concurrency primitives. Question number 22. What do you think of lifting state up in ReactJS? The answer is, lifting state up in ReactJS refers to the phenomenon which addresses the situation when multiple components have a requirement for sharing same changing data, which is done by lifting the shared state to closest common ancestor. Hence, local state in multiple child components is not saved or maintained, thus saving overheads in memory. Question number 23. What is meant by context in ReactJS? The answer is, context in ReactJS is an essential element needed for data transfer by the component tree and not using props for the purpose by passing it down manually at every level. Question number 24. What do you understand by reconciliation in ReactJS? The answer is, reconciliation in ReactJS refers to the update of actual DOM which has some updates on a specific element. The newly returned element is compared with the previously rendered one and decided for update of the DOM to be done or not. This whole process of comparing and deciding and finally rendering is reconciliation in ReactJS. Question number 25. Are exports supported by lazy function in ReactJS? The answer is, at present, lazy function in ReactJS do not support exports, but default exports is supported by the React.lazy function. If there is a requirement of importing exports named modules, then it can be done by creating an intermediate module which re-exports it as the default. Question number 26. What is meant by fragments in ReactJS? The answer is, fragments in ReactJS is primarily used for grouping multiple children. It is also used for returning multiple elements for a component. Question number 27. What do you think of portals in ReactJS? The answer is, portals in ReactJS are used for rendering children into a DOM node, which is not inside the DOM hierarchy of the parent component but is present outside the DOM hierarchy of the parent component. It uses the React DOM create portal, child, container functions for the purpose of rendering children into an external DOM node. Question number 28. How to do static type checking in ReactJS? The answer is, static type checking in ReactJS applications usually is done by using the prop types library, but for large code bases, static type checkers are to be used like Flow or TypeScript, having compile time type checking and auto completion. Question number 29. What do you think of a switching component in ReactJS? The answer is, a switching component in ReactJS is used for rendering of multiple components in ReactJS application. It involves usage of an object for mapping the prop values to components. Question number 30. How components should be named in ReactJS? The answer is, components naming in ReactJS have been specified and also recommended. The naming convention requires naming of the component by reference and not by using display name. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.